In this video, I want to show you a 5-step objection handling framework that you can start using today to sign more deals and increase cash collected. Hey, I'm George Mezes, and over the past 4 years, I've coached and worked with over 300 agency owners, coaches, and info products, helping them deploy ninja marketing and sales systems. Now, this is going to be a ninja objection handling framework that is definitely up there in terms of one of my favorites. So I'll try to put as much value into this video as possible. So let's dive straight into it. Now, this is the CIIPC objection handling framework. So this document is going to help you deploy a reliable framework in your sales process, and you can use this all the time regardless of the objection you get. So this is really, really cool. Now, I want to re-emphasize this all the time I make a sales video, is that sales is something that we do for people and not to people. Like, this is super, super key, guys. Like, this is not some sneaky sales tactic you can just use to manipulate people into buying your product, but this is a framework that you can actually use to help address the main concerns of the prospect. And by that, you can better align your offer and help them make the best decision moving forward. Like, that's the key thing that we want to achieve here. So where are we in the sales process? So we're after dropping the price, and you've done the WPT framework. Now, if you don't know what that is, check out that video in my channel first, because after we're dropping the price, we're going to go through 2 frameworks, the WPT and the CIIPC, in order. So first, we always start with the WPT, which is worth it possible timeline. And then we naturally slide into the CIIPC, which is essentially just handling that one specific isolated objection. So in the WPT framework, we isolate one objection. We paste the first objection, so we get an idea whether it's a financial objection, whether it's uncertainty, whether it's money, that's financial, or whether it's like spouse and partner. So money, so finances, spouse or partner, or uncertainty are the 3 biggest objection handling buckets, if that makes sense. So after the price drop, when you hold frame and you let the prospect break the ice, once they start asking you questions about payment plans, about payment terms, or in fact, anything other than questions about your service or deliverables, you proceed with WPT and CIIPC all the time. Like, you first go through the worth it possible timeline. Again, if you don't know what that is, check that video out first and then come back to this. And then you slide into the CIIPC. So again, from WPT, we got the objection. We got through the smoke screen. With CIIPC, we're actually sliding into handling that objection, but we first want to tie down that first objection. So in WPT, we got an idea whether it's like, financial uncertainty or spouse partner. And so with CIIPC, we're actually handling that and tying that down so that we can only focus on one specific objection at a time. So here's the framework. First, we get context, and I'm also going to give you examples. First, we get context. Then we have an isolation questions with yes or no answers. And then we have like an isolate question with open-ended answers. And then we ask for permission, and then we challenge the actual thinking of the prospect. So here's how it would play out in real life. I'm going to give you examples in a minute. But again, regardless of what the prospect says, after you drop the price, you always go to WPT and only then CIIPC. So the purpose of this CIIPC framework is, again, to isolate the first objection and tie down the real concern. Because again, you don't want to be handling smoke screens. If you're handling smoke screens and not the actual real concern of the prospect, then you're not going to move the sale forward. The conversation is not going to move forward, and it's not going to be a close at the end of the day, period. So we're looking for certainty that the prospect knows and also communicates to you that this is the right thing and now's the right time. Like, those are the 2 things that we're looking to achieve with actually tying down the real concern of the product. We want them to be bought into our services and actually themselves and ourselves as well as the actual company, because if they're uncertain about anything, they're just not going to buy. They're going to be confused, and a confused mind never buys. Like, that's the rule of thumb. So they need to be 100% certain that this is 100% aligned with them, and now is the right time. Like, super, super important. That's when we have certainty in the prospect, and they have some sort of other concerns. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's like just some kind of like spouse partner thing. So we need to handle that. But first things first, we make sure that they're certain and bought into the process. So that's what we achieve with WPT. So after WPT, you have an idea of what the objection you're dealing with is, whether it's uncertainty, money, or spouse partner, and you can use CIIPC to isolate and handle that specific objection. So for the sake of this first example, I'm going to use the easiest, which is essentially finances. And so here's what it would look like. So first, we always ask for context. So when someone says, oh, it sounds good, I'm 100% in, it's just that, it's just too steep for me, it's just too expensive. And it's like, okay, I don't know what that means, right? So it's like, we always ask for context first. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say expensive? Like, what do you mean when you say expensive? Like, compared to what? Like, what do you mean when you say you can't afford it? What do you mean when you say you have to move funds around, right? So these are essentially vague, abstract answers that the prospect is giving us. So anytime, and not just here, but at any point at the sales call, if the client or the prospect, better to say, gives us like this vague, big, open answer, then we always need to boil it down to some concrete, tangible answers. We need tangible, concrete answers because that's what we can actually use to hold them accountable. So first, we always ask for context. Like, give me more. Like, what do you mean by that, right? And they tell me more, obviously. And then, we get an idea of what they mean by that. Like, that's the whole purpose of getting more context. And then once we understand, we slide into the second question, which is the yes or no isolation, right? Which is like, okay, gotcha. It's really just a matter of making it work financially, right? Yes or no. Now, if they say yes, then we move into the next isolation question, which is open-ended. But if they say no, then we actually surpass the smoke screen. We know that they're giving us smoke screen, and we can dive into the actual real concern. Like, if they say no to a question like this, like, is it really just a matter of making it work financially? No. Okay, so what is it then? Like, there's some sort of uncertainty or some sort of other concern that's underlying there, which we haven't tapped into yet, right? So he's actually giving us something to work with now. Because if he's just giving us smokescreen all the way, we cannot handle that. But with the WPT and the CWIPC is just giving so many questions and so many chances for the prospect to open up and actually reveal the real concerns and objections that they have, is that it's like impossible for us not to go through these smoke screens. So hence why these frameworks work really, really well. So let's just say they say yes. Like, it's really just a matter of making it work financially for you, right? Yes. Okay, cool. So other than finances, so we go into the open-ended isolation question, right? So other than finances, is there anything else keeping you from being less than 100% certain that this is what you want to do? Again, they can answer with no, they can answer with yes, or they can answer with anything. That's why it's open-ended, because we want to give them a chance of basically not just boxing them into a yes or no question, but giving them a chance to open up and see if there's anything else other than this, what we're talking about right now, that may be an underlying concern that we haven't talked about. So that's why it's like super good, because again, it gives an opportunity for the prospect to open up. And sometimes they may say like, you know what, there's this little thing that we haven't touched on and I'm a little uncertain about in your process. Nice, we got uncertainty, and then you handle that. You lean into that. So anytime you got uncertainty anywhere, you first have to handle that and stop the process here, because if the prospect is uncertain about anything, about you, about your process, about themselves, whether it's like fear, nerves, fear of success, fear of failure, whatever it is, you have to first deal with that. Like an uncertain prospect, we just can't have a discussion with an uncertain prospect. They need to be bought into the process. Again, 100% certain, this is the right thing, and now is the right time. Two most important things when it comes to certainty. Now, let's just say that they, again, say, no, nothing else is keeping them from being less than 100% certain that this is what they want to do, right? And then we go for permission, because anytime we want to reframe a thinking of a prospect that they have, or handle any objection, as a matter of fact, we always ask for permission first. Now, why do we do that? Because if we give our opinion, that may come across as an unwanted opinion. So if I just say to you, hey, I don't agree with you, like, I'm just basically literally challenging your whole system and your whole belief system. And it's like, who asked for my opinion, right? Like, who am I? Obviously, I'm just a sales rep, but I'm a coach also on the call. So it's like, I don't want to be in this you versus me situation where I'm like arguing with you back and forth. I want to be with you on your side versus the problem. I want to make I want to help you make the best decision moving forward versus the problem, right? I'm not against you. I'm with you. I'm for you, right? So that's the thing I mentioned in the beginning. That's super, super important. So how do we actually not make this you versus me scenario? We ask for permission. Like, okay, got it. Can I share a perspective with you in that? Or are you open to a thought? Or, can I point something out? Or can I challenge you on something? And obviously no one's going to say no, because, it's just like, why would they say no? Like, in my whole career, I've been on close to 1,000 sales calls. No one said no to this. So it's like, sure. And then when they say sure and they agree for you giving your thoughts, they agree to it. They ask for it. So now it's not going to be rebuttal-ish, if that makes sense. It's going to be a conversation, open conversation, and they're giving the green light for us to give our thoughts to reframe their thinking. So that's how objection handling works at its best. And then obviously you go into the challenge, which is actually you reframing their thinking methods. So let me just give you actually two examples, which you're going to find on most of the sales calls: partner, spouse, and then timing. This is not the right time. And so this is how you would kind of apply this framework for these two scenarios. Now, partner, spouse. I want to talk to my partner first, right? Okay, cool. Context. What do you mean when you say you have to talk to your spouse? Like, is it a permission thing or a respect thing, right? So obviously, like how you handle partner spouse is going to be a whole separate video on how to handle that objection specifically, because you want to boil down to permission or respect, but that's like, again, a whole other video. But I'm just taking you through the framework that how it would apply to this scenario specifically. So you get context. You always get context. What do you mean by that? Like, why do you need to do that? Like, why, like, what does that mean, right? Give context. You got the context, the prospect answers, then you're going to isolate. We want to isolate that specific objection, that they only need to talk to their partner or spouse, and there's nothing else that's holding them back. So first we isolate with a yes or no question. So you're certain you want to do this. It's just a matter of getting your partner or spouse involved, right? Yes or no. Again, if they at any point they say no, again, they're giving us something to work with because they're being upfront that this is not their only concern, so we can actually address the real concerns and we're not dealing with smokescreen anymore. If they're saying yes, then again, they may give us smokescreen here. We still don't know. So we give another chance, which is an open-ended isolation question. So other than talking to your partner spouse, is there anything else keeping you from being less than 100% certain that this is the right thing and now is the right time? And again, another opportunity for them to open up. If they say, no, this is literally just one thing I have to talk to my wife, I have to talk to my partner, that's it. Then we go into permission. All right, no worries. I really can appreciate that. Can I share a different perspective with you, though? Or can I share a thought on this, though? Yes, sure. And then you go into actually reframing the way of thinking that they have, which is going to be the actual challenge and the objection handling. Now, that's going to be a whole separate video. Now, the second example is timing. I want to wait until we get back from such and such. I want to wait until I get some funds from clients. I want to wait until New Year's because it's a whole fresh start, whatever it is, right? I want to wait. Like it's a timing thing. So again, we ask for contact. Okay, are you going on vacation? Obviously, if they're not telling us, we're assuming that they're going somewhere. Are you going on vacation? You know, where are you going? You can kind of make this funny, like, are you going on vacation or where are you going? Right? You can just kind of ease up the tension at the end of the call. It really helps a lot with the prospect as well. And then we also obviously ask, like, when you get back. We want to get context. Okay, when you get back. So what's your timeline? Again, WPT, worth it possible timeline. What's your timeline? He's going to give us something to work with, but we want to still get more context on what do you mean by that? Like, what's your timeline? When you get back? Like, when would be a right time for you to consider starting with this, right? So it's like we want as much context as possible because, again, if the prospect is giving us nothing to work with, then what are you basing anything off of? It's like you have no context. So obviously, first of all, we're going to ask for context. And again, we're going to isolate yes or no. Okay, so let's just say you got back from your holiday yesterday, right? Would you be 100% in? Yes or no. Again, if they say no, we have uncertainty or we have something other than what we're talking about right here, which we need to handle immediately. If they say yes, this is just literally it. Then again, they may give us some smoke screen or they may be, upfront, but again, we give them another chance to open up and see if there's any smoke screens. So we isolate with an open-ended question. So is there anything else stopping you from being less than 100% that this is what you want to do? No? Yeah? It's just like, again, an opportunity for the prospect to open up. Again, if they say no, like this is literally just it, then we can kind of, again, ask for permission. Like, are you open to a different perspective? And then you slide into the challenge and actually the reframe of the thinking. So this is the CWIPC, guys. Make sure to dial down the WPT framework first, and then you can kind of master the CWIPC. But you can use these two for literally anything. So any kind of objection you get, you always slide into WPT and then CWIPC first, and then you handle the actual challenge. And if you want to see how to actually handle the reframes of the thinkings and whether it's like timing or whether it's like, uncertainty, partner, spouse, or finances, just check out the specific dedicated videos on that because that's like a whole separate story. If you're struggling with sales, check out the first link in the description below. I'm sure you'll find great value. And I wish you guys happy hunting and have an amazing day.